Welcome to the Center in the City podcast. I'm your host, Wade Brill, and during this series, I'll be interviewing various thought leaders, wellness experts, and humans on how they practice sustainable self-care and mindfulness. We'll get real and raw, talk about the light and the shadow side of self-care and mindfulness, and how we can actually stay centered amid the chaos and the hustle and bustle of our modern day world. So settle in and get centered. This podcast episode is brought to you by Centered in the City, a virtual on-demand self-care and mindfulness platform with over 200 different meditations, journaling prompts, nourishing recipes, and Pilates flows, all designed to support you feeling calm, focused, and energized as you live your life in this modern day world. For more information, head on over to centeredinthecity.org and claim your 7-day free trial. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Centered in the City podcast. If you're new to Centered in the City, this podcast is focused on having real, raw, and authentic conversation about how we practice staying centered in our busy modern day world. I'm really excited for today's episode because we are talking to Tâmara Castelo, who is a specialist in Chinese traditional medicine and is the CEO of Tâmara Castelo Clinic, which is located in Lisbon and Porto, Portugal. In Tâmara's clinic, she specializes in supporting people who have sleep disorders, intestinal diseases, anxiety, hormonal imbalances, thyroid issues, and much more. Tâmara is also the author of many books, and her most recent book, The Power of Rituals: Small Habits, Big Changes for Your Well-Being and Health, is now available to order, and I will link that in the show notes. On the podcast, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about our well-being, our emotional states, and poop. We talk about our poop. How knowing your poop is so important to understanding what's happening inside of your body and gives you clues about your well-being. So let's settle in and let's get centered. Welcome, Tâmara, to the Centered in the City podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I love that we get to have this conversation international, like from different corners of the world. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest in the United States, and you're in Lisbon, Portugal. So how fun. It just feels very human to know that wherever we are, we're kind of all sharing these similar thoughts and experiences that we're going to talk about today. And I'd love to kick us off by having you share, like, what is one of your favorite practices or rituals that you connect to on a daily or daily-ish basis that support you staying centered?
I think it's my morning ritual. I do it on the bed.
Tell me more.
I will tell you everything. The moment I wake up, when you wake up, everybody wake up. We have that moment when we are in the limbo of the conscious and unconscious mind. And that moment is the perfect moment for you to get direct control to your brain center, because your conscious mind is not already in place. So it's a bit dizzy. And that's a perfect moment for you to get it to do what you want. And I take advantage of it, actually. So my ritual is I'm a doctor, but I am a CEO of 2 big companies, and I have a lot of employees, and whom I love. Normally I like to be a good leader, and I want to be a centered and focused person. So in the morning, my rituals tend to give me center and to give me and my words of the day, which is kind of my ritual when I'm in my dizzy mode. When I'm asleep, I understand that I'm awake, and I just put my body in the state of mind that I want to be during the day, because we have a lot of things coming on, a lot of phones, a lot of emails, WhatsApps. Today it's a lot of forms of communication, and my patients as well. and to stay sharp, focused. And in my center, I always give myself a bit of words, the words of the day, and the words that I want to, like, it's like a bath of words to stay in my brain, in my subconscious through all the day, and to keep me in my best behavior. So this is one of my main perfect rituals.
That's so beautiful, and to recognize that subliminal space of the shifting out of sleep into consciousness and in your body. I'm curious, are there the same words you say to yourself every morning, or do you just kind of tap in and think like, huh, what do I want to hear, or what do I want to embody today, or what's my intention?
It's that. I
Mm.
just feel it. Yeah. Because I know normal I'm super organized, and I know which day, because I have a clinic in Lisbon and I have a clinic in Porto and big crews in every clinic. And I know I fly every other week, and I sleep away from home. And normally, and I have a shop too and a studio, a lot of things. And normally I know my day because I have my schedule organized, and because I know it. Normally the energy comes from, okay, today I'm going to have plane appointments, reunions, everything. So my mindset not naturally comes different words than a day that I'm at home only on online or only doing work in my computer. There are completely different days, and the words come naturally. And I tend to feel my body as well. If I'm with my menstruation or my menses, I'm different, and I'm more fragile, and I have to give more power words. But in my ovulation, I'm more strong, and I need another kind of word. So I think it's a cyclic thing, actually.
Mm.
And I tend to listen to that. It comes what it comes, and I tend to go with the flow.
I'd love to hear a little bit about how became a doctor and inspired to really focus on the human, the holistic human, and really from the inside out and connect the mind body connection when you talk about medicine. And I know in your book, you specifically, the book, The Power of Ritual, Small Habits, Big Changes for Your Well-Being and Health, which I definitely want to talk more about. But I'm curious, like, what even just inspired you to enter this field?
I have a Hashimoto's disease, which it's important. I've been with Hashimoto since my adolescence, and I have a bowel issue, which is connected to my Hashimoto, of course. So I have two autoimmune diseases, and I think it's important to, because from a young age, I understand that my emotions control my bowels. Nobody, yeah, somebody has that experience. Some people don't have that experience. I hadn't since I am 10 years old. So I think that holistic approach was not difficult for me to understand, because I was feeling it in my body. So I was very young. So for
Yeah.
me, it's so natural. The way I feel impact my body. It's so obvious for me. And so it's not a who thing. It's just completely obvious and factual, and
And
it's
intuitive.
yeah, and my reactions were so connected to the way that I was, to the sleep, it was so clear. And I was a kid and I noticed it, so it doesn't take a genius to know that. So I think for me it's a natural way of knowing your disease and knowing people and knowing yourself and understanding when you we are not so very different, so when you understand it in yourself, it's impossible not to look at other human being and not to see the patterns of everything. And I'm a good pattern seer. That's why I do internal medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. That's my work, actually, to find problems and to find connections with the problems. And I love that. And because everything is connected, the body is not crazy and you're not crazy, so something is definitely going on, and you just have to connect the dots. And that's my work. And in the work of the patient is to tell me what's going on, because he is inside of his body which is very important. And for me, it's more than a holistic approach. It's the approach when you listen to the patient, when he's describing you what he's feeling. Even if you're not understanding anything, you have to listen and listen and listen and try to understand what he's trying to say. And it's just like you have to clear your head and try to understand what he's trying to say between the connection of his body and his mind, because the connection is there. People are not crazy. And for me, it's the only way to see everything actually in the world. Not only the body. It's for me, I see all the world like that. It's not I cannot see it else different way. And so the holistic for me, it's in all. And the connection is in all.
I totally agree. And how I think this is also very like Western culture centric, where we need to divide things into more boxes where it's like, oh, the mind, oh, the body, and or, oh, we just focus on nutrition. Oh, we just focus on movement. Oh, we just, like we box things in our culture. And I think one way that is kind of quote unquote helpful is that it simplifies things, right? Because it helps people just focus on one area. But I think it also does a disservice to people, because then we get trapped in these ideas of only thinking like our ability to access our power and our well-being can only come from these one-off systems versus really connecting the dots.
I think the problem begins with the idea of the absence of health is not the absence of sickness is not health, which is really important to begin with. So that premise begins because the way of the thing of the Western people to see health is the absence of disease, which is completely abominable in to say the least, because the health, it's to be happy and to feel pleasure and to be able to do the things you love and to feel energy and to feel motivated and to feel social and to be able to do things that you love and to be able to dance and to be able to be free in your mind and in your body. And this is a way of living, a way of being a human, to connect, to be with people, to be a tribe, to be to have a common ground, to talk like we are talking, to share experience, which is so very important for the human race, and to share pains and to share fears and to feel resonance between people. And if you take this from the equation, you just have the body and the symptoms. So you're just treating half of the problem, which is terrible because you're going to have half of the solution. That's why the health system is like this. Nobody is getting, you see the blood tests of, I see 3,000 of blood tests per week, and the patients say the bloods are perfect. And the blood tests are perfect. And the patient feels like terrible. I'm terrible. And they say, my blood tests are perfect. I'm terrible. I'm feeling terrible. And this is, of course, because not only the blood test, and the blood tests don't see all.
Right. It's very
So
it's very true. I'm a cancer survivor, and when I was 21, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and nothing came up in my blood originally as being wrong. But then it was like a physical symptom of feeling my lymph node get swollen and bigger. And then some like other symptoms, came in and made sense, like itchy skin and feeling a little tired and, those kinds of things. But that really inspired, I mean, sounds like you having Hashimoto's and your experience with it, right? These kind of health wake up calls, like my cancer diagnosis.
it's important.
Yeah. And I notice a big driver for me in my work with coaching clients is like to help people take advantage of their well-being, their health, their life, each moment, to be present and enjoy it before they experience these moments of like touching death and sickness. Like, why is it? And maybe you have some thoughts around this. Like, why does our human experience not want to be proactive? Like, why do we wait until we get some sort of symptom, whether it's like finally insomnia and,
I think you get symptoms way back. I disagree. I think the problem is that you're not connected to the body. You have this, not you, the human, we all have a disconnection, a big disconnection between our body and our mind and our physical emotion body, like three parts of us. And we don't connect the dots. And the body is definitely giving you symptoms way before it gives you an insomnia, but they are subtle. It's like your menses are 1 day late, and then your poop, it's not so normal as it was, but just a little bit, and your hair falls a little bit, and your focus is a bit off. This is symptoms. These are symptoms. You just ignore it because you're tired, because something is off, because you're stressed, because you're just
the
not
weather,
because something, and you're just keep ignoring it. Because normally the body is well educated to give you symptoms, and we are educated to ignore it because we are educated to be strong and not to complain.
Right, suck it up.
Yeah, deal with it. Be strong and shit like that.
How do we discern to be present and aware and to listen to our body's signals without becoming hypervigilant, without being like, oh, my poop was different this morning, like something must be wrong?
One time, it's not time. 10 times, normally I say to my patients, one time you ignore it. 10 times, now you have to tell me. Now you tell me. 10 is a good number. 10 times you've noticed. You have to pay attention to your poop every day, every single day. This is important.
Yeah, let's talk about poop for a moment.
Yeah, let's go.
What is like the ideal shape, color, texture, consistency of our poop, and like what should we look for when it's like, oh, we should be a little bit more curious and concerned?
So it has to be like a shape of a banana all at once, and it has to be like this length.
So like
and the color,
like an inch thickness.
Inch thing. I don't know. I don't do inches, but like
that. Different. Yeah.
Banana shape, not broken. And the color brown, little, not dark, clear, like a bit more, less dark brown, like that, like caramel.
Okay.
Something like that.
And so
everything other than that, and it has to be like the same color, not food in that, not mucus, not blood, not points, blank, white dots, nothing like that. No dots, no colors, no food not digested, not chickpeas there, not tomatoes, not nothing, because it's not digestive. Something is wrong with the digestive system. So it has to be a homogeneous paste, like all the same color, beautiful shape, caramel. It's not like that. You just but you have a online. You can put poop color table, and you have a table of everything with the poop colors, with the shapes, and what means everything. Beautiful.
I love it. Getting curious about what we discharge, because instead of it being like, oh, I'm not going to look and just
no, you have to look.
Yeah, like be empowered to get to know your insides.
It's your poop. Yeah. Own it. Own it. Yeah, you have to look, because it's a huge symptom. Because you can tell a lot about yourself. If you have if you're putting a lot of water in yourself, if you're low on water, You can have high on water, actually. If it's something wrong with the input of fiber, if it's too much fiber, so you can regulate a lot from looking at the poop. So, and it's easy.
And our food
to understand.
obviously is part of the medicine that we take for our bodies. And
Oh my God, yeah.
so
For
just
sure.
so to even know that like we can regulate the medicine that's entering our bodies
Yeah,
based
you
on
can regulate, but you have to know the poop to see if the food is corrected to your body, because even though we are so much alike, our metabolism is due to our genetics, but it's also due to our traumas, and it's also due to our food, and also due to a lot of things. So we are really specific, which each and every one of us. So even if I eat well, in a good way, and I do a lot of input on my food, I really have to look at the poop to see if it's good for me. You understand? So if I poop every day, which is really important, if my poop is consistent and it's a good mass, if it's beautiful and it's homogeneous and it has a beautiful color, and if it's getting out good without, you don't, normally we say in traditional Chinese medicine, when you clean, you don't have to clean anything. It should be clear,
spotless.
no need of cleaning.
Okay.
It's a lot of poop talk.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but I hope everybody's listening is really empowered to get to know your poop more and what empowering information you can gain about your health. I have a lot of clients who, since I work a lot with these driven, ambitious women who feel very stressed and anxious a lot of the times, of course, it manifests in the body, and a lot of GI discomfort or bloating or cramping or pain happens. And I'm curious if you can enlighten us a little bit about like, what is the body telling us when it has those kinds of symptoms?
Okay, I will explain a bit about our bowel. Our bowel has approximately 9 meters long, so it's a big one, and trillions of cells, 100 billions of neurons there, like the ones we have on our brains. So our bowels regulate a lot of our bodies, and they are the main factory which is responsible for all the bricks in our body and all the chemicals. So if it's not working well, the creativity, the motivation, they are going down. So it's red alert if you are creating your own business. Okay. You shouldn't have gut problems. You should treat it. How do you address it? I will give you a little bit of clues. People don't like it normally, but I will give it the same because they work. So normally the gut, because it's super long, need time to heal, and the healing happens during the night because of two things. Because one thing, gravity. When you're up, you're doing a lot of pressure in your bowels, and when you're sitting, you're doing a lot of pressure in your bowels, and it cannot heal in that position. So when you're down, lying down, you can heal because you're not pressuring with a lot of organs and with the ribs and everything. And the second thing, it's the nervous system in the vagal nerve, which is connecting the brain with the gut, can relax and can clean and detoxify all of the gut at night. So if you have a gut issue, you have to sleep for at least 9 hours. Less than that will not do. I'm terrible to tell you that, but it's that.
I love knowing that being horizontal, letting gravity kind of hold us versus having to have our gut receive the pressure of gravity, and then also giving a chance for our nervous system, our vagal nerve, to reheal itself. So like
do
sleep,
it,
number one.
But no, but it's 9 hours.
9 hours.
Just don't take it off minutes, because it doesn't work. It takes time. It's huge.
So eight isn't enough. We need the full 9.
8 isn't 9.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my patients, oh, but I sleep 8. In your country, 8 is 9. I tell my patients, no. And I said, okay, so don't give me 8. Man, I did 9. But 9, 24 hours in the day, you still have 15. 15 is not good enough for you to do anything you want.
What is it about 9? What about in Chinese medicine says 9
Because
is...
it's the triple of 3. It's important, the number 3. Because the hours of the organs are 3 to 3 to 3, and you have a complete service. Even in REM movements at night, you have to do 3 REMs to give it the good night rest. And normally 9 hours gives you the chance of 3 repetitions. It's really important, 9.
Okay.
In all autoimmune diseases, by the way. 9 hours is perfect. So normally you go to bed if you are in Lisbon, you go to bed at 9 and you get up at 6, or you go to bed at 10 and you get up at 7, which is not a big deal, I think. For me, it's not a big deal. And that's what I do. That's what keeps me going with a lot of things that I have. And it will improve your health tremendously, and it will heal your gut tremendously. So the second thing you have to do is lower your fight and flight response. And you have to do that in the daily basis with breathing exercise, stimulating your vagal nerve and lowering down the reaction in your gut. You can do that by breathing, by stimulating the diaphragm. I can teach you. And the third thing you have to do is manage your food intensely. And this is important. If you do those 3 things, normally you're good to go. And to manage the food, you have to obviously take all of the dairy off. And it's not lactose, it's dairy. Casein must go. It's not the lactose. The lactose is not the problem. So all of the dairy must go, all of the sugar must go, alcohol included. A lot of issues with fruits and vegetables, but I can give you just a hint on a few. So in fruits, you should definitely avoid apples. Definitely, for sure. Apples, pears, watermelons, you should just don't touch it, which is important. And in greens, you have to avoid lettuce, like completely, 100%. And all of that kind of friends of lettuce with that crunchiness, because they are really difficult to digest and will give you a lot of work. And inflamed bowel is terrible because it's like you're working on a fever, You have to give it a bit of
rest.
So
rest. No like raw foods. It sounds like have everything steamed or cooked.
Yeah, that's perfect. Down. Steamed is perfect for your gut.
Roasted?
Perfect. Steamed is better. Steam is better. It's perfect. It loves steamed food because it preserves your nutrients, and it will give you a pre-digestive moment, which is so important. Really important.
What are your thoughts on legumes and beans?
Legumes are good, but beans, beans are really difficult. Really difficult. It's really, well, if you do azuki bean, it's okay, but the other bean you should avoid it. Lentils are okay if it's the orange ones. The orange is okay because it's without the part, the outside, which is really, really difficult for the gut to digest. It's like a baby gut. You have to treat it well. Easy things to digest and to absorb. Like you have to do a part of the work outside. Because it's inflamed. So you have to just be gentle with that. Not give it food that will be heavy to digest. And that kind of word like, oh, this is good because it will keep you and digest it for 3 hours. This is worse than ever for you, because you want a digestion that it has good nutrients and good absorption. Because you don't have a lot of energy of the organ. The organ is tired, so you're just giving it more work.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So
Don't
really,
do that.
yeah. So offering this deep sense of restoration for this organ that's
Yeah,
overworking, that's taxed.
it's like sleep, it's like
Right.
an idea of restoration, and this will restore, of course, your mind, ideas, creativity, focus, which you need to be a good leader and a good uh, person at some
Mhm.
point in the life.
Connecting back to this flight or fight response or stress reaction in the body,
Hmm.
you talk about in your book a lot of rituals that we can be practicing to slow down ourselves, find this intentionality, really be clear about what thoughts we're feeding and focusing on and how we're managing the good stress, the eustress versus the
The de-stress.
de-stress, yeah, and feeling the toxicity of that. So I'm curious, like, what would be some more mindset, emotional regulation work that you would recommend for people to practice as a ritual? I do a lot of ritual based work with my community and centered in the city and my clients one on one. And one of the things that I notice comes up for people is like, I don't have time. The
No,
sense
no,
of
no.
like rush that I just need to jump in the day and like, I can't make space to meditate for 2 minutes. I can't make space for journaling. I can't make, so there's that constant excuse. So I'm curious, like, how can we really take that time back for ourselves?
I give it statistics. Normally, that's how I convinced my patients. I just show them the studies, and I show them, if you stop for every hour you work, if you stop for 2 minutes exactly and precisely, your work, you will work 75% better than if you don't stop. Actually, it works. And normally I will say also, you will try it this week, and then you tell me. And if by the end of the week it doesn't work for you, I will never bother you again with this. And of course it works, because we have a lot of studies on it, and we know it works. And people, they don't feel grumpy at the end of the day. They feel focused. They don't feel exhausted. They feel with energy. They don't need coffee. They don't need stimulants. They just can regulate the body a lot better, and they really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the way you're putting it, because it's so many studies about it. You can just show them, and there you can see actually images on MRIs of this. You can see the brain fatigue, and you just have to stop for 2 minutes, get up, do a breathing exercise, and then come back. And then you will work better. Your creativity will flow. Why in the world you are not going to find time to do that? Why?
Yeah. I
If
know.
it's better, oh,
Right.
I
Because
don't know.
the alternative is that we just put our foot on the gas pedal and we go as hard, as fast as we can, but then
And
that
then
leads
you
us
have
to
gut issues.
burnout.
Ah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's a choice. By the end of the day, I think it's a choice of experiencing your body in different ways.
Hmm.
You have the good experience and you have the extreme experience. It's a choice. Normally, I want to give my patients a good experience. Like, I can understand you to understand your body. Work with it. Don't push it. Nobody wants to be pushed. And
Hmm.
you're pushing yourself, which is so aggressive in a way.
Hmm. Yeah. I've really learned to recognize when I'm in pushing energy, when I'm kind of leaning forward or there's more like resistance, things aren't flowing. That's typically a sign for me of needing to pull back, which is hard. It's hard when you want to get shit done, when you want to take things to the next level. But I have learned over time and time again that I actually am more quote unquote successful, productive, fulfilled when I'm living life from a rested, calm space versus a reactive, pushing,
Yeah, but
grinding
the
space.
problem is that they don't teach us that. everybody who knows a little bit about internal medicine will tell you that you work really better from that space,
Yeah.
other than fight or flight mode.
Mm-hmm.
Fight or flight mode ends in only one way: gut and brain burns. No other way. And normally thyroid burn, ovaries burned, and all of the adrenal axis burn. So you're just burning your hormones, all
Yeah.
of it. So this, you don't gain nothing with it. You're just losing.
Right.
And
And
it's terrible for your health, and you're not in your best behavior, because if you're telling me, okay, this is my best behavior, I have to give it all, that's not your best behavior. That's your behavior when you're flying, when you're fighting, when you're in terrible mode. You're
yeah.
not thinking with all of your dimension. You're in terrible behavior in that way. You're just lacking your internal vision. If you rest, you have open vision. So the
Mm-hmm.
ideas are much better.
Mm-hmm.
You earn more money like this. So
Mm-hmm.
no, nobody will convince me.
Right. Right.
So
When
yeah,
we're in a stress state, which stress is like inflammation, right? Which is the root cause of all of our diseases. And when we're in that state, as you're saying, our focus and our mind is and our view is very narrow and limited, because that's what's happening from our body's response system. And so it's like when we get out of that fight or flight, we have more of a wider view of what's possible.
yeah, and dimensional view of what's possible,
Mhm.
because you can see the things from a perspective, not only anxiety in the form of anxiety, but in a lot of forms. You just see in, like, in a 4-dimension space. When you are in fight or flight, is a 2-dimensional way.
Mm,
So
mhm,
it's just really narrow.
mhm, mhm.
It's not cool.
Tell us about your motivation for writing this book.
I think it's my fourth book, and my motivation was, I was feeling that my patients weren't connected with the bodies. It was terrible for me, and they don't even know where the organs were, and it's terrible. You don't know your physiology. You don't know yourself. It's a part. Yeah, I don't know. I think in the last couple of years, and good, because I do therapy and psychoanalysis for a long time, and I just love it. And I do a lot of things, but I think the body was left in some place. People forget about the body. It's like the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind, and this is terrible, because the body is a potent part of ourselves, and it has so many emotions, and it's the room for a lot of power, and it's completely set aside, and for me that's sad. And you cannot address anything without connecting the physical part in yourself.
Amazing. Well, where can people, Tamara, get their hands on this book,
In
and
Amazon.
also share like where can they be connected to you?
I think Instagram, it's Tamara double underscore Castelo, or in my website, tamara-castelo.com.
Amazing. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Recording this podcast was so much fun and reminds me again and again how important it is, even though I practice this myself and even though I work with this with my clients, how important it is to get into our bodies and get out of just leading from our minds. Our bodies hold so much wisdom that we ignore or we override because our mind has been told to be the captain of our ships, that we need to listen to what's analytical and what's not emotional. And even though we don't want to let our emotions drive us and be reactive, there's so much wisdom when we listen to the whispers and the signs and the sensations that are nested in our body. And when we can learn to live and listen to those, we can unlock a different way of living, a more easeful way of living, a more aligned way of living, a more loving way of living. In this moment, I welcome you to pause and check in with your body. Notice just one thing that it is trying to communicate to you. Maybe it's that there's a sensation in your right calf. Or maybe when you pause to listen, you're noticing, I'm actually thirsty. And notice what is telling you you're thirsty. Is it because your mouth is a little dry? Or maybe your mind and eyesight feels a little foggy, you feel a little dehydrated. Whatever it looks like for yourself, just tune in to pay attention, to get curious with our body. And if you are looking for more support on getting curious with the wisdom that your body is telling you, how to regulate more of your nervous systems, your emotions, and of course your mindset, I'm opening up a few coaching spots in June. And so I welcome you to sign up in the show notes for a connection call, complimentary connection call, for us to see if working together is the right fit. So only 3 spots open. So if this feels like something you've been wanting to do, you're curious to learn how to listen to your body more, to lead from your body, to help you manage anxiety, to create more clarity and purpose and alignment in your life, then this might be the time for you. So notice if your body's kind of even getting a little excited, maybe a little nervous of like, oh yeah, this is for me. This announcement is for me. Then I welcome you to pay attention to that and sign up. 3 spots open, and I look forward to connecting with you all. Thanks again for listening. I love having you here. So grateful for this growing community. If you found this episode useful, please share it with a friend. And until next time, stay centered.